What's up, Jets fans? Welcome to another edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician, Dane Martinez, and we've got another great episode of Jets Latest for you because we are now headed for the NFL draft, right? A time where every team gets better and hope kind of springs eternal. I've been talking about who the potential targets are, what are some of the rumors out there, and quite frankly, debunking a lot of the rumors. Like, no, I don't think the Jets are trading for Kyle Pitts. And here comes another one that I just don't get. And quite frankly, I think this one has jumped the shark. There are reports out there about the idea that we would go ahead and try to trade Breece Hall after drafting Ashton Jeanty at number 7 overall. I think this is crazy. Now, I understand there are some people out there that think that Breece Hall is not going to re-sign, or we wouldn't want him to re-sign at market value when his rookie contract is up. But that's a position, that's a time for down the road. I don't think we need to worry about that just yet. There's also people out there that think Breece Hall had a down year last year. But let me tell you something. You heard last week, we talked about it on Jets Latest, that Aaron Glenn really likes all three of his backs in the running back room, and they're all young. Why would they need to kind of augment that with Jeanty at number 7? I just don't get it. And also, Breece Lightning, I actually think he had a decent year last year. It wasn't a down year. In a down year, you have 1,359 scrimmage yards and 8 touchdowns. You're a pretty good back if that is a down year. He was just outside the top 20 in rushing with like 850 yards, but among running backs, he had the 4th highest amount of receiving yards. So he continues to be a threat like that, a threat that Justin Fields is going to need out of the backfield. He also, in other metrics, had a good year. I mean, he was tied for 10th in the NFL with 2.9 yards after contact, okay? Showing that ability to keep on going, make guys miss. He had 12.4% of his runs go for over 10 yards. That rate was 9th best among running backs who were clear leaders in their backfield. And honestly, only reason people thought that he had a down year is because the year before that, he absolutely smoked everybody with 1,585 scrimmage yards and 9 touchdowns back in 2023. In fantasy football, he was going as like the number 2 or 3 running back. So the fact that he was like number 14 or something, people think he had a down year. Listen, Ashton Jeanty is great, but the other reason I don't think this is going to happen is because, as I have talked about here on Jets Latest, the clear need for the Jet, my clear priority is to go offensive line with the Jets at number 7 overall, not Ashton Jeanty. That is not a position kind of need for them. And quite frankly, hardly anybody has Ashton Jeanty going to the Jets. I've seen odds for who will draft Ashton Jeanty. The Jets are 16-1. They are the 7th choice. So I do not think Ashton Jeanty is on the horizon. I do not think Breece Hall is on the trading block. We have, however, started to see some consistent names pop up in new mock drafts, right? We've seen the mock drafts. Mel Kiper, for example, has Armand Membu going to the Jets at number 7. You know, I have Armand Membu. We have seen Phil Yates have Armand Membu. What's interesting to me here is that in the second round, Mel Kiper has us going tight end, like we've said here on Jets Latest, but Elijah Arroyo at number 42. And quite frankly, I think that would be a little bit of a reach at tight end for Arroyo, at least that early. If we wanted to go for Arroyo in the 3rd round, if we didn't address it in round 2, that I would be okay with. I mean, Arroyo, listen, 6'5", 250 pounds, has a 81-inch wingspan, right? But he's still kind of improving. He's had a little bit of an injury history. He is somewhat raw. He had injuries to his left knee the last couple of years, and he was a redshirt. You know, I think there are other tight ends out there that we can get if we want to use number 42 overall. Like, for example, I don't think Colston Loveland, the tight end out of Michigan, is going to be there, really ranked as like the 2nd best tight end. But there have been 2 guys I have been talking about here on Jets Latest. The first is Mason Taylor out of LSU at 6'5", 251. His father was Hall of Famer Jason Taylor, the famous edge rusher, Miami with us for a short stint. His uncle was Hall of Famer Zach Thomas. So think about the pedigree that he has, right? Only 1 drop for LSU in all of 2024. About 70% of his catches went for first downs. He had the LSU record for receptions for a tight end with 55. He's the only LSU tight end ever with 100 catches and 1,000 yards in his career. So I think Mason Taylor is more worthy of 42, a second round pick, if he is still on the board over Arroyo. And another name to note is Terrence Ferguson out of Oregon. I think the Jets would prefer Ferguson over Arroyo as well. Ferguson, 6'5", 247. He made some really good plays and practice at the Senior Bowl, so he really kind of got on people's radar. We had our tight end coach, Jeff Blasco, go to the Oregon Pro Day. Over the last 2 years, he's caught 85 balls, had over 1,000 yards receiving. He holds the Oregon record for receptions and touchdowns for a tight end. I think Ferguson and Taylor are two kind of other targets that the Jets have over Elijah Arroyo, who Mel Kiper says is going for us at number 42 overall. I think those two tight ends, if on the board, would be better picks than Arroyo. I think Arroyo is more of a third-round pick, to be sure. And then Connor Hughes over here with SNY, he has it being Tyler Warren. Okay, and we see that a lot, right? Tyler Warren potentially at number 7. Where I work at FTN, our guy Jeff Ratcliffe, the fantasy guru, has Tyler Warren going at number 7. I just don't think that's it. I just think that you get a better track record with the offensive lineman at that level. You get a better chance of getting a true stud, all-pro, Hall of Fame caliber offensive lineman when you draft in the top 10. The hit rate, the conversion rate on that is a little bit better. And we just heard on Jets Latest that Darren Moji likes the tight end room. You know what I mean? He said he liked Ruckert. He said he liked the addition of Stone Smart. And I think if you put in a Tyler Warren right there, all of a sudden you're going to, kind of hand him the job. And that goes against some of the competition that I have been talking about here on Jets Latest. So I do think maybe it's not the tight end in the first round, number 7, that you have to anoint like it would even be with Kyle Pitts, but more creating competition in the room. That's why I think a second round draft pick, I believe Ferguson or Taylor, maybe some people think Arroyo as well. But here's one thing I will say. It is becoming clear, right? All these mocks do kind of agree on something. Okay, except for the crazy ones that have us getting like Shador Sanders at 7 or Ashton Genty at 7, right? It is becoming clear that O-line and tight end are the positions of need going into the draft. I just told you about the tight end targets. And again, Armand Membu is the guy that I like at number 7 overall. He only gave up 3 sacks in 3 years at Missouri, was rated at a grade of 90 over at PFF. And then there's Will Campbell, right, who has some flexibility, could be a guard, could be a tackle, 2-time All-SEC lineman, 2-time captain. He's known as very fluid and smooth, kind of with his stance, with his hands placement, and that versatility there. Those are the top 2 offensive linemen in the draft, and I do think that is a clear position of need along with tight end. The thing is, the tight end draft is deeper. We can get guys to add competition to that room in the second round. I've told you who, right? And I think that the hit rate, the idea of getting someone elite with number 7 overall, especially in this kind of draft class, where there's the quarterbacks there, where there's guys like Hunter and Genty who may go, we may get the discount of true top offensive linemen that could go at picks 2 or 3 in other years, falling down to us. I think we need to take advantage of that and go offensive line at 7 and then tight end in rounds 2 or 3. Then we'll get to things like D-line. We'll get to things like adding wideouts if need be. But the clear positions of focus are kind of crystallizing and coming in when you see these mock drafts and kind of what I'm saying here on Jets Latest as well. So that'll do it for another episode here of Jets Latest. Make sure you go ahead and watch this video. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, tell a friend to tell a friend, okay, because we are giving you everything you need as we head to the NFL draft on the JETS Jets. If you want to hear from me, the spitting statistician Dane Martinez, follow me on Twitter or X at Spittin' Speeds. You could always hit me up. And over on SiriusXM Channel 87, I am the host of the FTN Fantasy Show, all right? Where we do a lot of great conversation, not only about the Jets, the NFL, the draft, Major League Baseball, fantasy sports, NBA, everything to help you win your league and win that cash. FTN is a great site with all sorts of data, content, tools to help you figure out how to play in fantasy and how to make some great prop bets and other bets as well to win that cash. But that'll do it for this episode of Jets Latest. I will be back tomorrow giving you more insights, maybe debunking more rumors, because it is certainly rumor and smokescreen season, but getting you ready for the NFL draft for the green and white. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.